Level 1, the recruitment. You're 26 years old with a degree in international relations from Georgetown, and exactly zero idea what you're going to do with it. You've been applying to think tanks, NGOs, consulting firms, generic jobs that sound important but pay $35,000 a year in a city where rent costs twice that. Then someone notices you. It's not dramatic. No mysterious phone call, no secret meeting. You're at a career fair, talking to a recruiter from the State Department. Mid-conversation, she pauses, looks at your resume again, and asks if you've ever considered other opportunities within the federal government. You say sure. She writes something on the back of her card and tells you someone will reach out. 3 weeks later, you get an email. Generic subject line. Follow up regarding federal employment opportunity. There's a link to a questionnaire. It's long. Questions about your foreign language skills, your travel history, your family background. Questions about your willingness to relocate. Questions about things you didn't expect. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to lie to protect someone? Do you consider yourself comfortable operating without clear rules? You answer honestly. Mostly, 2 months later, you're sitting in a windowless office in McLean, Virginia, talking to a man who never gives you his full name. Just Mr. Warren. He doesn't tell you he works for the CIA. He doesn't have to. He asks you questions for 3 hours about your life, your beliefs, your willingness to do things that exist in gray areas. He asks if you're okay with the idea that some of the work you'd be doing would never be publicly acknowledged. You say yes. Because you're 26 and broken, the idea of doing something that actually matters sounds better than answering emails for a think tank. You don't know it yet, but that yes just changed everything. Level 2, the training. They don't call it CIA training. Officially, you're enrolled in a federal analyst program. You sign paperwork that says if you talk about what you're doing, you go to federal prison. You sign it without reading all of it. The first 6 months are at the farm. That's what everyone calls it. Camp Peary, Northern Virginia, middle of nowhere. You learn how to gather intelligence, how to recruit assets, how to lie so well that polygraphs can't catch you. You learn how to surveil someone without them knowing, how to break into a hotel room and photograph documents in under 4 minutes, how to build a cover identity so deep you start believing it yourself. You also learn how to fight, real fighting, the kind that ends with someone not getting up. You learn firearms, lots of firearms. You learn how to operate in denied areas, which is CIA speak for countries that will execute you if they catch you. You're good at it, better than you expected. The instructors notice. By month 8, they're pulling you aside, asking if you'd be interested in operational work, not analysis. The real thing. Field work? You say yes again. Because you're good at this and it feels like the first time in your life you've been good at something that matters. You graduate. They assign you to the Directorate of Operations. You get a cover job at a defense contractor. On paper, you're a logistics analyst. In reality, you're a NOC, non-official cover, which means if you get caught, the US government will deny you exist. You're 28 now. You have a fake LinkedIn profile, a fake job, and a real mission. Your first assignment is Istanbul. Level 3, the first operation. Istanbul is loud, crowded, and perfect for what you're doing. You've been here for 3 months under your cover. You work at a consulting firm that does risk assessment for multinational corporations. It's boring enough that no one asks questions. Your real job is recruiting a source. His name is Mehmet, mid-level official in Turkey's energy ministry. He has access to information about which Russian oligarchs are moving money through Turkish banks. Information your government wants. You've met him 4 times now. Always in public. Coffee shops, restaurants. You never talk business. You just build rapport. You compliment his English. You ask about his kids. You let him complain about his job. Tonight is different. Tonight you're going to make the pitch. You meet him at a bar in Beyoğlu. It's crowded. Good cover. You order drinks. You talk about nothing for 20 minutes. Then you shift the conversation. You mention that you have friends in the US government who are very interested in understanding regional energy dynamics. You say these friends are willing to pay well for insights. You don't use the word spy. You don't have to. Mehmet goes quiet. He's not stupid. He knows what you're asking. He could say no. He could report you. You'd be PNG'd out of the country in 12 hours if he does. But he doesn't. He asks how much. You tell him. $5,000 a month. Deposited into an account his government will never trace. He thinks about it for a long time. Then he nods. You just recruited your first asset. You don't celebrate. You go back to your apartment and write a coded message to Langley. Then you sit on your couch and realize your hands are shaking. Because if Mehmet changes his mind, if he talks, if Turkish intelligence is watching him, you're not going home. You pour a drink. You don't sleep much that night. Level 4. The double life. 2 years in, you're running 3 assets across 2 countries, Istanbul and Beirut. You travel constantly. Your cover job thinks you're doing client meetings. Your family thinks you're doing boring corporate work. Nobody knows what you actually do. You've gotten good at lying. Too good. You lie to your girlfriend about where you've been. You lie to your parents about why you can't come home for Thanksgiving. You lie to your friends about why you can't talk about work. You have 2 phones. one for your cover life, one for operational comms. The operational phone uses encrypted apps that auto-delete messages. You never keep it in the same place twice. You have 3 different emails, 2 different passports, and a bank account in Cyprus you tell people is for international consulting fees. The work is good. You're feeding Langley intelligence that's making it into the president's daily brief. You're being noticed, promoted. Your handler tells you you're on track for a station chief role in 5 years. You should be proud. You are proud. You're also exhausted because living a double life isn't exciting. It's corrosive. You can't have real relationships because you can't tell people who you are. You can't relax because you're always checking for surveillance. You can't trust anyone because trust is a vulnerability. Your girlfriend leaves you, says you're emotionally distant. She has no idea how right she is. You tell yourself it's worth it. You tell yourself you're serving your country. You tell yourself a lot of things. Then the job in Kiev comes through. High priority, short notice. You're being sent to run an operation involving a Russian intelligence officer who wants to defect. It's the biggest op of your career. It's also the one that's going to end it. Level 5, the mission. Kyiv is cold in March. You've been here for 2 weeks, operating under journalistic cover this time. You're supposedly freelancing for a think tank, writing reports on Eastern European energy policy. Your real target is a man named Dmitry. He's SVR, Russian Foreign Intelligence. He reached out through a back channel 6 months ago. Says he wants out. Says he has information on Russian operations in Ukraine that could change everything. The meeting is set for tonight. A cafe in Podil. Public, but not too public. You've run this scenario in your head 100 times. You arrive early, you sit near the back. You order coffee, you don't drink. You watch the door. Dmitry walks in at 8:47 p.m. Right on time. He's nervous, you can see it. He sits down across from you, doesn't order anything. He slides a USB drive across the table, says it contains SVR operational plans for Ukraine. Names, dates, assets. Everything. You pocket the drive. You start to explain the exfiltration plan. He'll be moved to a safe house tonight, then out of the country within 72 hours. That's when you notice the car outside. Black SUV, tinted windows. It wasn't there 5 minutes ago. Dmitry notices it too. His face goes white. You tell him to stay calm. You're already running through exit protocols in your head. Back door, side street. Extraction team is 2 blocks away. Then your phone buzzes. Not the cover phone. The operational phone. The message is from Langley. 2 words. Abort. Compromised. Your blood goes cold. You look at Dmitry. He's looking at you and you realize he wasn't nervous because he was defecting. He was nervous because he was bait. The cafe door opens. 4 men. They're not trying to be subtle. You have maybe 10 seconds before this goes very wrong. You run. Level 6. Burned. You make it out the back. Barely. You ditch the operational phone in a trash can 3 blocks away. Standard protocol. Can't let them trace it. You don't go to the safe house. You don't call your handler. Because if Dmitry was a setup, if the op was compromised, that means someone talked. And you don't know who. You have a go bag in a locker at the train station. Cash, a second passport, a weapon. You grab it and disappear. You cross into Poland on a bus using a Canadian passport that says your name is Michael Graves. You don't sleep. You just sit in the back and try to figure out what went wrong. 2 days later, you get a message on a burner email. It's from someone inside Langley you trust. The message is short. You're blown. Kiev station compromised. Do not return. Do not contact. You're on your own. You read it 3 times. Then you delete it. You've just been burned. That's the term. Burned. Your cover is compromised. Your identity is flagged. If you set foot in a U.S. embassy, you'll be detained and debriefed for months. If you try to go home, you'll be arrested for violating operational security protocols. You are officially a ghost. You have $40,000 in cash, 3 fake identities, and no one you can call. You think about what went wrong. Was it Dmitry? Was it someone in Langley? Was it the Turks, the Russians, someone else? You don't know. And that's the worst part. You've spent 4 years of your life learning how to operate in the shadows. Now you're living in them permanently. You move to Berlin. You rent a flat under a fake name. You don't contact anyone from your old life. Not your family, not your friends, nobody. You start doing freelance security consulting. It's vague enough that no one asks questions. You make enough to survive. You also start drinking more than you should. You also stop sleeping well. You also check over your shoulder every time you leave the apartment. Because you don't know if the burn was political or operational. You don't know if someone in Langley decided you were a liability. You don't know if the Russians know who you really are. You just know that the life you had is gone. You are 32 years old. You have skills most people don't. You speak 4 languages. You've run operations on 3 continents. You've served your country in ways that will never be acknowledged. And now you're alone in a foreign city with a fake name and no way home. Sometimes you think about that career fair, that recruiter, that questionnaire. The moment you said yes, you wonder if you do it again. Honestly, you don't know. Because the work mattered. It did. You stopped things that would have hurt people. You gathered intelligence that saved lives. But the cost was everything else. Your relationships, your identity, your ability to trust, your ability to go home. You are not a hero. You're not a villain. You're just someone who made a choice and lived with the consequences. And those consequences are sitting alone in a Berlin apartment at 3 a.m., wondering if the footsteps in the hallway are just a neighbor or something worse. You check the window, nothing. You pour another drink, you think about the next move. There's always a next move because this is what you are now. Not an agent, not an analyst, just a ghost. And ghosts don't get to go home.